Okay, Android versus Apple. I own an iPad Air M2 and I've been using it every day for over a year now. And recently, I've been using the rather fantastic OnePlus Pad 3 as well. So I thought it would be interesting to compare them. I've written out a list of areas to pit them against each other, so let's make them fight. If you're new around here, hi, I'm Carl. I'm not some trendy tech YouTuber. I'm a very busy dad of young kids with a full-time job. I love tech, but I'm not that interested in the numbers or the tech specs. I'm interested in how it would actually slot into your life and the features you're going to actually use day to day. Okay, before we begin, let's just quickly say what we actually have here. This is my own personal iPad Air. It's the 11-inch version, and it's actually the M2 one rather than the newest M3 one, but apart from the chip, there's basically no difference. And it's effectively the cheapest spec you can buy. 128 gigabytes of storage and Wi-Fi only. And this is the OnePlus Pad 3. It's also the cheapest one they make, but it's 13.2 inches and 256 gigabytes, which is the minimum spec. This one isn't mine, I've been borrowing it from Ben over at Lover of Tech. If you haven't watched his stuff and subscribed to his channel already, definitely do. He's been unbelievably helpful in getting this channel up and running for me. He does pretty much the best battery life testing and camera comparison videos out there for phones, so definitely worth a subscribe. Oh, and subscribe to my channel as well, obviously, subscribe to me too. First up is price, and this is a big one. Let's jump over to each of their websites. iPad Air M3 starts at £599 for the 11-inch version. Let's assume we don't bump up the storage or add cellular, so we keep that cost down. And for the OnePlus Pad 3, it's £529 at full RRP. So not a huge price difference at first glance, but in reality, the difference is nearly always way more. Apple very rarely run promotions, and if they do, it's like £50 off or something. Here on the OnePlus Pad 3, for example, it is £509 at the moment with a free folio case and free stylus. And you can get 30% off the keyboard when you buy it with it, so that puts the total at only £627.30. That's only slightly more than buying the iPad by itself. Add all of those accessories to the iPad and the price is now £997. So all of a sudden it's gone from being basically the same kind of price to the Pad 3 being a huge amount cheaper. And that's not unusual. There are lots of promotions for OnePlus products throughout the year, certainly way more than you see on iPads. So for price, to me, OnePlus is the clear winner. Let's look at the displays next. Both are LCD rather than OLED, but the OnePlus is 13 inches as standard, whereas the iPad is 11 inch. And you can upgrade to 13 inch on the iPad for about £200 more. So that could be a pro or a con, depending on how you look at it. If you want a big tablet, then the OnePlus is the clear winner there. But if you do want an 11-inch tablet and you prefer something a little bit smaller, then you're out of luck with the Pad 3. There's also a big resolution difference. The OnePlus is 3392 by 2400 pixels. So that's a PPI of 315. The iPad Air is 2360 by 1640 with a PPI of 264. That is a big difference and you do notice it. Not that the iPad isn't sharp and detailed, it definitely is, both are great, but the OnePlus is incredibly detailed. It's probably the highest resolution tablet that I've ever actually used. It is excellent. It also has a refresh rate of 144 Hz, while the iPad is still 60 Hz, so movement is smoother on the OnePlus, and the brightness is about the same, 600 nits on the OnePlus, 500 on the 11-inch iPad, while the 13-inch is also 600 nits. But to be honest, the difference between 600 and 500 in real-world use is minimal. So mostly, the OnePlus Pad 3 has a much better screen. Unfortunately though, I can't seem to get HDR content working at all. Netflix doesn't recognize it as HDR capable. YouTube doesn't give it HDR. It just doesn't seem to work. I'm not sure why, because the iPad, despite being a less capable screen, can show HDR. Not great HDR, admittedly, not like the iPad Pro, but it's still HDR. Normal content looks pretty close between them though. So overall, there's lots to argue that the OnePlus should win this one. But that lack of HDR support, it does make it a tough decision, but I do think overall the OnePlus should win here. Let's listen to the speakers and how each of them sound. At regular volumes, I'd say they both sound a little bit thin, but that the iPad sounds slightly better. However, when you turn the volume up all the way, the OnePlus Pad 3 is much louder. So I think I'm going to give the win to speakers to the OnePlus Pad 3. AI will also be a quick one. It's no secret that Android is in the lead here. Apple Intelligence is, well, it's not so intelligent. Well, pretty much every Android device has Gemini built in, and it is so much better. You can add it with an app on the iPad, but it's much better integrated into the Pad 3. And you could easily spend a whole video discussing the differences in detail, so I'm going to keep it brief here. Long and short of it is that the OnePlus is the clear winner. Power and performance. Now, both are hugely powerful. The OnePlus has a Snapdragon 8 Elite processor inside, while the iPad Air has their M3 processor in the latest generation one. Both are incredible. I'm sure there's differences if you start running Geekbench scores and all of that, but in real world use, they're both incredibly snappy, incredibly powerful, incredibly quick to load everything. They're more powerful than 90% of tablet users realistically need their tablets to be. So for pretty much everyone, I would put these just at a plain draw. But in the spirit of this video, and to find an actual winner, I think we have to look at that top 10% of power users. And realistically, for that top 10%, it's the apps which will dictate the difference here as to which tool is better, not which chip scores slightly better on Geekbench. And the iPad just has so many more pro apps. DaVinci Resolve, Logic, Procreate, they're all on iPad and not on Android at all. So for that reason, the iPad is more powerful in my book. The Stylus is a clear win for the iPad. The Apple Pencil is significantly better than OnePlus's Stylo 2. It just is, especially the Pro model, which I have here. Drawing and writing on the iPad is fantastic. It's got to be said though, it is far more expensive. If we ignore that OnePlus often include the Stylus free as a promotion when buying the tablet, buying one new on Amazon is £69, while the Apple Pencil Pro is £119. There is the cheaper USB-C one, but it's still £79, and you can't charge it up on the iPad. You have to plug it in separately with a USB-C cable. So the win does go to Apple here, because it's just better. But if you don't care that much about the Stylus, the Stylo 2 is going to be fine for you and save you quite a bit of money. Okay, keyboard is a really interesting one. The Magic Keyboard from Apple is meant to be incredible, but it's so expensive that as an average iPad user, I haven't bought it. So, I've not got one. Whereas the OnePlus one, I'm sure it's not as good, but it comes with the tablet most of the time, depending on promos, or it's discounted. And even when it's not even discounted, it's at a price that I think most people would probably buy it for just to make sure that they have it. And it's the style I like as well, where you can quickly detach it to turn the tablet back into a normal one with a simple flip kickstand case on the back. So for the keyboard, I'm sure the Apple one is better, but if it's so expensive that most people don't end up actually owning it and using it, then what's the point? I'm going to give the win to the OnePlus. Both tablets have fantastic battery life in real world use and last for ages when they're off in standby as well. So they mostly always have charge when you actually pick them up and want to use them, which is really important. If we look at the actual capacity numbers though, the iPad Air has just under 8,000 milliamp hours, while the Pad 3 has a whopping 12,000 milliamp hours. It's doing a lot more though, of course, with a less efficient Snapdragon chip, larger screen, and so on. But that is still very impressive. It also supports up to 80 watts fast charging, while the iPad Air seems to only be able to handle about 30 watts or so. So to me, I think the clear winner for battery is also the OnePlus Pad 3. So, leaving the apps and the ecosystem zone to one side, if we just look at which one is the better piece of actual hardware, the OnePlus has won 6 rounds while the iPad has only won 2, which as an iPad owner who has ignored Android tablets for years, I don't know how many years, comes as quite a surprise. But let me know what you think is better or worse on each of them down in the comment section. I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on this. And that is enough talking about tablets from me for one day. I promised my wife I would empty out and organize the fridge before the kids get home, so I better go do that. Thank you very much for watching.